Is it working? Are we on? I believe we are on. Hello. There you go. Hi, Royal We family. I want to thank you so much for joining me on a Wednesday night. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're going to be talking about anger and what to do with the anger that you have coming out of narcissistic abuse, because let's face it, you are angry. There's a lot of anger to deal with. And so we're going to talk about it and how to use the anger to do some good, actually, because anger is a necessary emotion that we have. So I'm going to wait just a few seconds here to say hi to some people who are coming on. Hi, Missy Joy. How are you guys? Hi, Taylor. What's going on? Good to see you. Hi, Blue. Hi, Annette. Hi, Kylie. John, what's going on? Free to be. Andrea, how are you? Moonstruck. Julianne. Robert Thomas. What's going on, man? It's so good to see all you guys on a Wednesday night. Middle of the week. We're getting through the midweek, and let's go ahead and just get started so we can get into some good phone calls tonight, guys. So let's go ahead and start right now with talking about anger, because this is something that is very important, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into anger, understanding anger. The anger is a big deal coming out of narcissistic abuse. All of you guys experience it. I experience it. Now, here's the deal, guys, with anger. All right, here's the deal. I'm going to be honest with you, obviously, because that's what we do on the Royal We. Someone were to ask me, Kevin, are you over the anger? I would have to say, no, I'm not. I'm not over the anger. Okay, but there's a difference here. We're going to break down a little bit of the anger. We're going to talk about what anger actually is. Now, there's two forms we're going to talk about, and there's a misconception about anger and then what anger possibly can be. Anger is a natural emotion, just like sadness, happiness, joy. Anger is typically something that's associated with fight or flight response. The purpose of anger in our lives is to help us manage moments of fight or flight response. It's ultimately a way that we figure out problems. We recognize a problem and we work to figure it out. This is the purpose that anger serves in our lives, when it's managed, when it's controlled. Okay. Now, anger, if it's not controlled, if it's not managed, it turns into narcissistic abuse. It turns into a volatile, hostile eruption where you just spill out poison all over the place. This is a prime example is road rage. A driver gets cut off in traffic, and suddenly it just invokes this rage, and you become hostile. And this is what unmanaged anger does, okay? So the root of the anger is something that we all have. There's a problem that needs to be fixed. When you don't know how to manage it, though, you erupt out of hostility. So I want to break away from anger, and I want to talk to you about something else, because this is what we want to do with this anger, okay? Anger is externally fixed. This is why anger becomes hostile. This is why narcissistic abusive people are hostile. This is what they do with their anger. It's externally fixed. That is something I need to fix, or that is something I need to destroy, or that is something that is the problem. It's external. Anger is very external. It's very hostile outward, and that's your narcissistic abuser. They're hostile outward, right? Okay. Now, that is an inappropriate management of anger. That's not what anger is for. What anger should be doing in our lives is being turned into what's called indignation. Okay. Now, indignation is slightly different than anger. Indignation is a pain. It's an annoyance. It comes from anger. So when you see something that you can't fix, it's annoying. It becomes an annoyance. You're still at that level of anger, but as you start to process it more, it starts to pain you on the inside. You're pained, you're hurt. And this is how we are. And when we're dealing with abusive, toxic people, we become hurt and we become pained by this. We filled with this indignation, okay? Now watch this, guys. What we do with this indignation is very important, okay? Because we need to shift from externally, it's their fault, to indignation. I'm annoyed, I'm in pain, I want to do something about it, but not in a volatile, hostile, uncontrolled, unmanageable way that narcissists do. I want to do it in a way that's going to be freeing and liberating and helpful. So you can take something like indignation now and you can create a movement out of it, because indignation is now speaking out. I don't like abuse. I can't stand abuse. I can't stand it when people curse at other people. I can't stand it when somebody hits another person for no reason. I can't stand it when I watch somebody abuse somebody who loves them. I can't stand it when I have to watch somebody take advantage of somebody else. I can't stand it. This is indignation. Do you follow me? And this is where I am. And I'm sure this is where a lot of you are too. I can't stand seeing abuse take place. I can no longer stand and just see it take place and not do anything about it. This is out of indignation. And so with this indignation now, I can do something about it. And so can you. What do I do about it? I created a channel. I talk to people, take phone calls, do whatever I can, make videos to bring awareness and open people's eyes so that we can create a movement so that we are aware and we don't just stand by and watch and we don't fall victim to abuse or bullying or any of this stuff anymore. Because why? Because I can't stand it. That's indignation. I have an indignation that burns inside of me against that mentality that we can do what we want, say what we want, do what we want to do, bully, we're tough, we're the bad people, we're narcissists. I can't stand it. To me, I've come to this place, I don't care how badass somebody thinks they are. I don't care if that's how they were raised. Doesn't matter to me. All that matters to me is how do you treat people, right? This is indignation, okay? And so out of this, I move forward, and it's driving me to do things, right? Okay? To do things and to step out and do this, okay? Not to be angry and volatile and hostile and blow up like narcissists blow up or road ragers just blow up in hostility. That's anger, unmanaged anger. What we want to do is learn how to have focused indignation and use it to help fix something, to help change something, right? Hope that makes sense, guys. And with that being said, I want to let you guys know that the telephone line is now open. We're going to go ahead and start taking phone calls. I want to hear what you guys have to say about indignation or about anger. How are you guys processing anger from coming out of narcissistic abuse? How has it affected you? How has it, where has it taken you in this life? Do you find yourself in a place of anger where you're volatile, where you're acting out in hostile ways, or are you thinking already in terms of, listen, I have indignation, and I want to help? I can tell you right now, there's people on here in the community that burn with that indignation. Blue is one of them, right? And so here's Blue, and what is she doing about it? She's here helping you guys, bringing awareness, and that's what you do with indignation. I hope that makes sense to you guys, right? We got a call from New York. You're live on the Royal We.
Hi, Kevin. This is Emma.
Hi, Emma.
I'm so glad you brought this up today because it's so ironic. I do a lot of reading and research, and I was reading something about how other people in our families and lives and stuff, they get so belligerent with the person being the abused from the narcissist, and they take it out on them, which further makes it more stressful, more unmanageable for the person in that situation to deal with. They're being pulled, and they at the time when I was deeply involved and I couldn't get out, I had nowhere to turn, and today I started getting very angry about not just I used to be anger toward myself and then anger toward the narcissist, but I'm kind of a little bit angry, and that, I understand this is a very complicated disease, disorder. It just makes it that much harder when you don't have the support and people don't understand what you're talking about, and they just think we'll walk away.
Right. Absolutely. And that is angering. And this is something that creates this indignation. So here's the deal. So you realize now that there's a big gaping hole. This is the same realization that I came to as well, which is something's broken, okay? Something's broken in the world when people can call other people's names, bully, abuse, and nobody around does anything about it, right? Something's seriously wrong. So this can create anger, but it's not, and this is the right kind of anger. This is the anger that wants you to seek justice. This is what you turn into indignation. And this is what you say, well, what can I do to stand up and bring some light to it? What can I do to say no more? What can I do to start to put a stop to this? Okay. This takes that anger that you have towards what happened to you, being, creating that victimized mindset, and says, and takes that and says, now I can't stand that. I can't stand this as a reality of the world we live in. I can't stand it. It annoys me. It pains me, right? I've heard a teacher once say this. You want to know what your calling is in life? Find what pains you the most. What pains you, that's a calling on your life, okay? And now it becomes this indignation, and you burn with desire towards this indignation, and this is what creates great movements. And you can do that, even if it's just in your community, even if it's just, in a school setting, you know what I mean? Or whatever, or even if it's in another family, maybe not the one that you've come from, but in another family where you're able to go in there and set, this parameter, if that makes sense.
I hear what you're saying. It's just sometimes the coverts are they appear so wonderful and charming. It's like people don't believe it. They don't believe you. And that makes it even worse because you don't even know what's going on. People don't believe what you're saying. They're like, she's nuts, or, it's like, how do you even start some conversation? I mean, where do you start with that?
What I found is that we have to stop worrying in these cases about what other people think. It's, and it depends. Again, it's not something that you use. This is where there's a balance. You don't use this anger or this indignation in any way, shape, or form as a revenge, as a targeted revenge against another person. So let me give you a prime example. You guys ready for this? Here we go. The abusive narcissists in my life who I've dealt with have no idea that I'm even doing this right now and talking to all of you. Okay? They don't know. I'm gonna take it a step further. None of my close family or relatives or anybody who knows me knows about the royal we. I'm specifically here for you. And now there's a reason for this. Because knowing them and them knowing me, going to them might open that door for nothing but arguments, debates, and whatever, especially knowing, the narcissistic background. That's the difference of using anger as a revenge tool. Well, I'm talking about how you act on YouTube or whatever. You know what I mean? Which is just an exchange. That's a hostile exchange right there. And that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is now take that anger, what hurt me so bad, and made me angry, turn it into an indignation. That's what I did. And I realized I had this fire inside of me. What do I do with this now? I'm just going to go and I'm going to help and awaken people. This is what you're called to do. This is what you do with your indignation. You don't target out necessarily exactly who hurt you. You take it as a whole. This that takes place bothers me. It bothered me. What can I do with that now? What can I do with that indignation, that burning that I have? Because you're not going to, in every case is different, but chances are you're not going to be able to go and target out individuals who have caused some kind of hurt and seek some kind of revenge or something. It's just not going to. No. Yeah, it's not going to work in that way. That. But the way to deal with your anger is to understand the indignation part of it. And even if that means that it just creates boundaries in your life, which is what indignation can do, it now creates boundaries. So, for example, you know that your family or people in your life demeaned you, devalued you, maybe cussed you out, called you names. So now suddenly you can't stand being around people who are going to cuss and call people names. And so now you live that out. This is living a life with indignation in a controlled way. And you're able to set boundaries around yourself. No, don't call me names. I don't do that. I'm not going to hear, I'm not going to listen to you do that. I don't do that to you. I'm out of here. Even if it's your own mom, your dad, it doesn't matter. But this is what indignation can do. And is it selfish? No. Not at all. You're simply stating, listen, this is what I believe. And I'm not going to teeter-totter and wimp out on what I truly believe. I believe it's wrong. It's inappropriate for you to act like bullies, for you to try to demean people. I don't care if you're joking. I don't care if you're not joking, right? Let's get serious. Stop with the competitive, you're this and you're that. Knock it off. You either want relationships with people, you want to have loving and kind relationships with others, or you don't. If you don't, if you want to go compete, you want to go and live this life where you're something on top of everybody else, then go somewhere else, right? And this is kind of where we are with indignation. Or maybe as a mom and you have a child in school, you find out that there's bullying in school, so maybe you go straight to that school, march into the principal's office, and tell them exactly, what's going on, and start to allow your indignation to make an effort to make change at that school. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It's just that I read something today about a woman or a situation where she was being, the people in her family so angry with her. They're like saying it was your fault. You stayed. You had the choice to leave. And the same thing happened to me with my mother. She loves me so much, but she was so hurt by watching me be hurt that she didn't know how to express it. She came across as extremely angry, but at the time I didn't even know I had, that I didn't understand what was going on, why the pull was there and how to get out of it. And, that's the thing about it, the person that's in it, and they don't get the support they need from their family.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Tough,
It is tough.
On both ends.
Mm-hmm. It is tough. We live, unfortunately, in a place where people want to sweep things under the rug, pretend they didn't hear stuff. It's very hurtful. It's very damaging, right? And so you have to do what's right based on what what your indignation, what your pain is telling you, and you have to act on that. You have to move on that, right? Even if that means you find new people where you can express it, you can talk about it, like this community here. That's what we're here for, right? Because
exactly.
we do understand. Yeah. We do understand. And there's amazing moderators here, who can help you out. And just not even the moderators, but all the people here. Everybody in the Royal We community, they're here to rally because they understand it. They get it. They really get it.
That's why I feel so lucky, so fortunate to have found this community. It's the first time that I've been able to not feel isolated in my own crazy world.
Right.
I can talk to others and communicate. And so, it's awesome. So thank you for what you're doing.
You're welcome.
From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. It's wonderful. It's a gift that you're giving us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Okay. Bye, Kevin.
Bye. All right, guys. Yeah, the telephone line is back open again. We'll take another telephone call and talk more about anger, talk more about indignation. I know that a lot of you are dealing with anger. And anger is something that even the Bible talks about anger. It says to be angry, have indignation, but sin not in your anger. Again, this goes back to the reality that anger, if it's not managed, can become hostile, eruptive, and that's not what you want to do with it. We got a call from Texas. Texas, you're live on the Royal We. If you can turn your computer down in the background, that would be great.
Is that me from Texas? Are you talking to, Kevin?
I'm talking to you from Texas.
Hey, my name is Denise. I've been watching you for several months.
Hi, Denise. How are you?
I'm well, actually, finally, after 30 years.
Good.
I think one of the things that I check in with you every now and then, that daylight savings time, and the time has been a little confusing for some.
Uh-huh.
And I think the anger thing is probably one of the most interesting topics. And again, I have to commend you. There's so many resources. I did not know what a narcissist was until about 8 months ago. Had I known what I was dealing with and, just the whole, what we all are doing in our incredible community here is learning from one another, supporting each other.
Right.
And I just think the anger, I find it's an interesting, emotion. And
yes,
I find that the anger that I experienced with my narcissistic husband for 28 years, the anger that he would portray on me, and usually, Kevin, it was always behind closed doors, right?
Right.
Always. When you never knew when he was going to be upset. You never knew. You walked on, and forget the eggshells. for me, it was broken glass.
Ooh.
And,
Hard
it's
to
one of those
walk.
things that,
Hard to tiptoe, huh?
yeah, you're not kidding. And, if I didn't roll up the hose correctly and, and so the anger of going through this gnarly divorce and walking away from a lot. But I will tell you, and one of the biggest things, and I know that's a whole different topic, is that my 3 grown adult children have turned away from me. So what do I do with that? That can make me angry. It's made me angry, but yet I need to have an open heart and an open mind and all of it. But let me just kind of go back to what I read here is anger is understood and used correctly, you can become a leader. And one of the things I think about, and I do have an incredible therapist, and I live in a very small community here. I'll just tell you, I live in Corpus Christi. Come see me. I'm on the board of the Texas State Aquarium. It's a beautiful community. But, to become a leader and abuse is abuse is abuse. And
that's what I say all the time.
Abuse, and it doesn't matter if it's domestic abuse or physical. Thank God I was not physically abused. But so at what point do you get to it? And I'm going through my journey, and I've already met with several people in my community regarding the women's shelter. And they want, let me share with you what I think what was the biggest thing for me to think about is that I look around the room at women and I think how many other women are in my situation, but yet they do not have the ability or the resources or a community to reach out. And moreover, if they don't know what a narcissist is, they don't know what they're dealing with it. And I actually want to write a book, what it is.
Right.
But tell me how to become a leader, but yet you're going through this journey ourselves, and yet we're not there. Share with me what you would do.
I'm doing exactly what I would do.
You are.
I am. This is it. Listen, I opened up this show with, and maybe some people caught it, maybe some people didn't, but it's the absolute truth. And that is this. If people were to ask me, Kevin, are you no longer angry? I'd say that I couldn't honestly say, yeah, I'm no longer angry. No. What drives me and keeps me here is that I am angry. All right? But it's not that, but it's a different anger. It's morphed. And this is why I myself, like you, I'm trying to understand this anger that I have, because it's different. Because I don't desire to go to the narcissist. I mean, I had flashbacks and I experienced the CPTSD and I had the violent fantasies where in my mind I played out going to the situation and reliving it and standing up for myself in a different way. And it was horrible. And none of that ever happened. It was just in my mind. But as that CPTSD, and those are symptoms of CPTSD, flashbacks and violent fantasies, as those started to go away, I was still burning with this anger, and I didn't know what to do with that. And that's when I realized there's something that I need to do with this. There's something. I don't want to go and engage with narcissists. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to go and get in endless, stupid arguments with people that are going to go nowhere. I might as well waste my time talking to a brick wall and yelling at it and trying to tell it to change. It's not going to change. It's a brick wall. And so I realized, what do I do with this indignation? Well, I've got to take it and I've got to use it and I've got to be able to open up and talk about it to not to people who aren't going to care, but to people who are going to care. And so then the next thing was, well, who's going to care? Well, you found me. Does that make sense?
I found you. Yes.
Okay. You found me. And so, and that's simply just because I'm talking out of a place of indignation. I'm talking out of my anger. The royal we was birthed out of indignation, out of things that are taking place in the world and in relationships that are unjust, unfair, ugly, nasty. And I've seen so much of it in my life that it pains me, breaks my heart.
And I can hear it in your voice.
And I still, try to piece it. I just, you know what I mean? And so this is it. This is what you do. You cannot wait to do something until you feel like you're 100%, you've got it all figured out, and you're healed, and you're all smiles and sunshine, because that's not going to happen. You start now with where your pain is, and see what happens. And
unfortunately, what I think about is for me to get involved with the women's shelter. And again, it's I would like to curtail some of that anger. But I think what you do, Kevin, is that you also put us in a direction of, other areas and other things that we can do with our lives and good things that we think about. So I don't want to be working from a position of anger. Yes,
Right.
that can fuel your belly and it can give me passion. I have
Right.
lots of passion for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just someone, to be able to talk to, and, the biggest thing, and we've all talked about this, and I've seen this so many times on your site, is it's unless you've been in my shoes, you don't understand what I've been through.
Right.
And I think the most fascinating thing is to find so many men that have dealt with narcissistic women. And, again, so many people that you try to talk to, I've gotten to the point where, and again, the stature within my community, it's almost as if, Kevin, I don't even know where to begin because, again, like the last caller said, they don't believe you. How
Right.
can you have such a beautiful life and a wonderful home and whatever? And are you kidding me? No, nobody knows. And so
Right.
I think part of my anger comes from nobody believes me.
Yeah.
And that I don't even want to waste my time on some of this conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I personally think if, just to go back to what you were talking about, going to things like the women's shelter, right? Which is,
Yes.
that right there is commendable. And here's the thing, you're not, when you go to a women's shelter, whether it's an abuse shelter or whatever it is you're going to, you don't have to go there and convince anybody to believe you, right? Because you already know why they're there.
I know my truth.
And you know why they're there as well. And so all you have to do is speak to that. Talk to that. You're not talking to convince anybody. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I've stopped doing that. I realized I couldn't convince anybody when I tried to tell the abusive narcissist, hey, stop calling me names. It's not nice. I didn't convince them that it wasn't nice. But I just started talking and it meets people where they're at, right? And this is what you can do in these groups when you go to these women's shelters. You're not trying to convince them of anything. You're not trying to make them believe something they don't already believe. You just meet them where they're at, right? First of all, you have to know why you're even there. And if you're going to a women's shelter, it's because you know why they're there, right? And you're there to validate them, to support them, to give them the encouragement, to build them back up because you know that each one there has been torn down. That's why they're there, right?
In many ways, yes.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do love your last sentence. If anger is understood and used correctly, you can become a leader. And I think that's valuable, that's thought-provoking, and good job. Keep going, and I'll give it to another caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling from Texas.
All right.
Bye. All right, guys. Yeah, so the phone line is back open. Before we get another phone call, though, I want to give a shout-out to some of the most amazing people who I know. One of them being Blue, our moderator, Blue. Blue, thank you so much for everything that you do. Everybody, give Blue a lot of hugs, a lot of love, and just thank her for her support and everything that she does. Visit the Facebook page that Blue has also put together, and she's got a lot of information for you. Also, moderator Taylor Zabel, I know that you're out there as well. Everybody give Taylor a big high five, a big thank you, and a lot of love for Taylor too. Because of just all of her effort and everything that she is doing as well. Again, the community is going strong because of you guys, because of the moderators, and also D-Doll. Everybody be sure to give a big shout out and love to D-Doll. We got a phone call from British Columbia. Hang on one second, caller. I'll be right there. D-Doll is our newest moderator. Everybody give her some love as well for being welcoming. All these ladies are doing just an amazing job because they are keeping all of you and in the chat and in the community. They're just you guys have your own thing going on. It's just a support group. It's amazing, and it's all of you, and so together, all of the community. So thank you guys for just being a great community here on the Royal We. I think that's just amazing. So we're going to go ahead and take this call now from British Columbia, and you're live on the Royal We. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Kevin. My name's Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
I just want to tell you how much you have blessed my life. I discovered your videos about, 6 months ago, and I've spent all my life trying to figure out why I never fit in with my family. And through your videos, you defined the narcissist in my life, which was my mother, my father, and my sister. I'm 62 years old, and I just discovered what had happened to me all my life is the abuse from 3 people who, they should have loved me. And anyway, I just want to thank you for your program. But one thing that I did with my anger, I'll tell you how, when I was watching your videos, I thought, why don't I have any anger? I don't know why I'm not angry. I saw what they did. I saw the very negative effects in my life. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm not angry because I've stuffed all of this pain down into my very soul for 60 years. And the only way I could relieve it was, I'm a Christian too, and I had to go to God's word. I asked him, I begged him, show me what is wrong with me, with my family. And he took me right to Cain and Abel, and you've mentioned that story a number of times, Kevin, and I just was shocked. It was like God gave me the answer. Your sister is a narcissist, and stay away from her. And it hurt me so bad. I just said, Lord, I've got all this, and of course then the anger started to come out. And I didn't know what to do with it. There's nowhere to put it. You can't go back in time. And I just felt like it was poisoning me. And I just said, Lord, how do I deal with this? And he said, I want you to be honest that you hate what your family did to you, because they did do it to you. Just let that be honest, because you keep pretending that it's not that bad. You keep pretending it's okay. You've matured. You've gone on. Your parents have passed away. You've got no contact with your sister for 7 years. But you have to be honest. You hate what they did, and it's okay, because I hate it too. And it set me free. And now I'm in the process of healing emotionally. I'm very cautious around people. I just have real problems with trust still at age 62, but God's really blessed me. And I got to tell you, your program, I went online to find out what narcissism was, and with the behavior of my sister, it came to narcissism. You are just like, God is blessing you and anointing you, because I watch the other people's comments. I pray for every single one of them, and they need to know that,
Wow.
God will heal you. He will absolutely heal you. And I pray for all these women that are freaked out, and the men that were crying the other night. I just say, God bless them all. Heal us all. We need you, Lord.
Wow.
So thank you, Kevin, and thanks for letting me babble on. But I'm just I'm actually shocked that I'm this upset, because I've been doing so well. But when you start to hear other people's stories and read about it, it just brings it all back. But now I cry a lot. I don't yell anymore. So hope that helps everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, that was powerful. I'll tell you what, I'll take your blessing. I know that everybody in the community receives your blessing too. Thank you. That's very powerful. And you're not alone with the family. You're not alone with the family dynamic. I can tell you right now.
That's what
I hate
That's what heals me, is watching the comments. It's so healing. I'm sure other people, that's why they're logging on. It's the best thing.
Right. I hate it too. I hate what I saw in my family. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate what I see in other people's families. I hate it. And that is indignation. So be validated in that. What you're really hating, is that evil. What you're hating is that
it is.
That's the reality. It's a reality. And what we're discovering is that, man, we're here in the thick of it. We really are, for this temporary time, and it's like this eye-opening experience. Like, oh my goodness, now
it's terrifying.
Yes, it can be. It is terrifying. It really is. When you have that awakening moment, and you look around, and you're like, this is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Families aren't supposed to act like that, but they do. Families aren't supposed to be trying to kill one another, but they do. This isn't right. And then you realize that, Walmart and Hallmark and all these things have been lying to you for years, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it. They've been painting images and putting up billboards and Christmas cards and this and that. And I get what they're trying to do. A lot of it is trying to make an effort to pull people together. But what's happening now is
pretty lies.
Yeah.
I call them pretty lies.
Pretty lies.
I want to leave. I'm going to leave now because I've talked too much. But can I leave one thing is to all, because I'm 62. Please, young people, get out. Do not stay with abusive men. Get out now. Don't waste your life.
Yes.
Just even if it's your
Yes.
mom and dad, cut them off. They need to, God
Yeah.
will deal with them, and it's so hard. But
Yes.
just free yourself, because they will never ever change unless God changes them. So set
That's
yourself
it.
free. Cut it off. Yeah.
That's
Thank
it.
you, Kevin. And good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Powerful, guys. That was a powerful phone call from British Columbia. That was a long distance call too. I'm so grateful for that caller. What a powerful way to end the show. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up right there, guys. And for those of you who are struggling, hopefully you'll be able to make connections here. Hopefully the moderators are here. They're able to help you out. The community, there's people here who can also support you. Before I wrap it up tonight, guys, I want to let you know that if you would like to donate to support the Royal We as a channel as we progress, you're welcome to do that. There is a PayPal link on the Royal We homepage that you're welcome to donate on. Also, if you would like to donate through purchasing merchandise, you're welcome to do that as well. There is a store where you can support the Royal We through buying a t-shirt, which you can also support by wearing it when you're out and about. And there's also coffee mugs and things like that. That shows that you are indeed supporting the Royal We and that you are part of the Royal We. And so I want to thank you guys once again for being here. Thank you for just everything that you're doing as far as participating in this community. If you didn't get on the phone tonight, you can call tomorrow night. We will be live 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, guys, right here on the Royal We. And yes, there was a time change, so be sure to make sure that it's the new 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll see you here tomorrow night on the Royal We, guys, live. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye.